gentlemen, honored guests and graduates, welcome to the University of Notre Dame's joyous celebration of the conferral of the Masters of Education degrees and Master of Arts in Educational Administration degrees on those who have directed scholarship towards the service through the Alliance for Catholic Education. Please continue standing while the ACE 13 graduate, Michelle Garvey, offers the invocation.
Loving God, as we come together to celebrate the graduation of our ACE classes, we thank you for our students, our coworkers, our community members, our teachers, and our families who have supported us throughout this journey. We ask that you continue to guide us so that we may use the fruits of this experience to serve one another for your greater glory. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good afternoon. We celebrate this afternoon the just extraordinary witness that these young men and women before all of us have provided and will continue to provide through their passionate commitment to children. They have, in the words of Tolkien, kindled hearts in a world grown chill. In so doing, these teachers and leaders have been driven by a spirit that Dr. Martin Luther King characterized as divine dissatisfaction to become the battering rams of the forces of justice. There are few figures in education in America today who have more fully embodied divine dissatisfaction than our honorable commencement speaker this afternoon, Dr. Howard Fuller. Over the course of a career that spanned more than a quarter of a century, Dr. Fuller has served tirelessly as an advocate for children in need, a pioneer in the field of K-12 education reform, an architect of some of the most important education policy initiatives in the history of the United States. A former student at St. Boniface Catholic School in Milwaukee and a graduate of Carroll College, Dr. Fuller earned his doctorate from Marquette University in 1986. After serving as a community organizer in urban areas throughout the country, Dr. Fuller was appointed superintendent of Milwaukee Public Schools in 1991. He garnered national attention with his decision to help design the city's voucher program, the first such initiative in the United States. Over the course of his tenure, Dr. Fuller was a virtual force of nature in reforming Milwaukee's schools, and his work inspired similar reforms in urban areas throughout the nation. In 1995, Dr. Fuller founded the Institute for the Transformation of Learning at Marquette. In 2000, he founded the Black Alliance for Educational Options, the nation's leading organization for broadening educational opportunity for African American families. His work has led to the creation of more than a dozen publicly funded school choice programs, which presently provide educational opportunity to nearly 200,000 low-income children. Notre Dame graduates, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm Notre Dame welcome to a lifelong educator, a tireless advocate for kids, and a true witness of what it means to cultivate what our Pope recently called an audacious hope in the future through Catholic education, Dr. Howard Fuller.
I want to say good afternoon, and I want to thank Father Tim for that wonderful introduction. And I want to thank all of the people who are connected to ACE for being such a gracious host. And what was really cool, man, was they sent a plane out to Wyoming. So that was pretty cool. So I have to say, in all honesty, you know, when people give these graduation speeches, they always say, you know, like, I'm really honored to be here. And, you know, a lot of times it's sort of bogus, but I really want to say I am truly honored to be here. And the reason why I am honored to be here is because of the work that those of you who are in front of me, who are graduating, have done. I cannot tell you what an inspiration it is to hear about your work and to know what you're doing on a day-to-day basis for our children. Because when you're out here in this battle to change the way that America deals with its children, people often ask me, why are you doing this? And I have a very simple answer. I believe deep in my heart and in my soul that our children are our most precious gift from God, and that it is our responsibility, with God's guidance, to love them, to nurture them, to care for them, and to make sure that every single one of them is educated. Because if we truly believe in democracy, you cannot have a democracy without an educated populace. And we cannot have an America that we truly believe in if large numbers of our young people, because they're black or brown and because they're poor, that they do not get a quality education. And I tell these people all the time that we can't build enough gated communities to keep them away from us. And if we truly believe in what we say, and if we truly believe that our children mean everything to them, how can we continue to allow for so many of them not to be educated? It is simply un-American for us to happen. And so when I look out at those of you who are here this afternoon, I really understand the meaning that graduation is an oxymoron. Because what it really is an end and a beginning. And I know for many of you, you got into ACE thinking, well, hey, you know, I'm going to be in here a couple years, and I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do the real thing. And what I hope has happened is that you've discovered the real thing. And that what has happened is that you're hooked. Because I tell young people who work with me, and they're tired of hearing this, I only want 25 years. That's all I want. And so what I'm hoping is that as you've gotten out there and worked in these schools and see what you can do and see what the need is, and those of you who are in the leadership program, going back as principals, that I hope that on those worst days, that you'll remember how important the work is that you're doing. There is no more important work to be done in America than what you're doing. And just think, during these worst moments, what Paulo Freire said in Pedagogy of the Oppressed, that the real mission of education is not to prepare young people to go into the current situation and conform to it, but it is to prepare them to be able to engage in the practice of freedom. This whole idea that they can be a part of transforming their world. So when you're there and you're dealing with these kids who got issues, and you're struggling to try to figure out how come they don't understand what I just said, just know that you'll never really know necessarily the impact that you're having. Because even though that one that's in the back that you think is never, ever listening to what you said, you're probably changing his or her life. So I want you to think about this, and I've said it to a lot of people. You know, a lot of times when politicians come around, they used to, for the last several years, they've been talking about how it takes a whole village to save a child. And I'm getting tired of that, because most of these people ain't never been to the village, couldn't find the village with MapQuest. And so, you know, so when I read Friedman's book, The World is Flat, I was so happy to see a new African parable. And what it is, it says that in Africa, every day a gazelle gets up. And the gazelle knows that if it can't run faster than the fastest lion, it's going to get killed. Every day in Africa, a lion gets up, knowing if it can't run faster than the slowest gazelle, it's going to starve. Either way, when the sun comes up, they both start running. And what's happening in our world is every day, young people all over this world are getting up when the sun comes up. And these young people are running faster than our best young people. And so if they're running faster than our best young people, what chance do the young people that you're working with, what chance will they have if we do not figure out a way to educate them? And I just want to leave you with this notion. Sometimes you're concerned because the whole class didn't get it. And we always want the whole class to get it. Like I have this Harriet Tubman view of the world, you know, where Harriet Tubman used to get up every day and she would say, I want to end slavery, but in the meantime, I'm going to rescue every slave that I can. And I get up every day saying, I want this whole system to be better. But you know what? I have a moral responsibility. While I'm trying to make the whole system better, I have a moral responsibility to rescue every single child that I can. And that is what you do every day. And I just want you to understand how important it is to save one child. Because you know what? You never know what that one child is going to do. You never know if that's going to be the one to find a cure for cancer. You never, never know. And so every day, that work that you do to save a child is so important. God bless you, and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Fuller. Thank you for honoring us with your presence at our celebration today. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom, but most especially, thank you for sharing your passion for the nation's children, Catholic education, and our shared future. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Dr. Thomas Doyle, the Academic Director of the Alliance for Catholic Education, to present the graduates for the Master of Education degree.
Dr. Mazar, I present to you the degree candidates for the Master of Education. Having fulfilled the academic requirements, They have sought and found here the opportunity for further study of how their profession may serve the cause of peace, justice, and knowledge in the world. ACE 13 teachers, please stand.
It gives me great pleasure that with the authority vested in me from the University of Notre Dame du Lac, and in the name of the trustees of the university and the faculty of the Alliance for Catholic Education, I solemnly and publicly confer on you the degree recommended by your academic director. We admit you to all its rights and privileges and remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. May God bless you and keep you. Congratulations.
As I call your name, please come forward to receive your diploma and to be hooded by Doc. Megan Marie Adzima. Angelica Augusto. Amber Marie Arbogast. Bridget Mary Baudonnet. Edward Justice Berghausen. Nicole L. Beaver. Susan Heather Bowling. Daniel Henry Bowen. Elizabeth Rose Brands. Christopher Daniel Cahill. Bethany Dawn Karen. Catherine Mary Connell. Maeve Crow. Claudie Egalite. Nicholas J. Fagnant. Casey Marie Farrell. Anne Marie Fan. Brendan James Floyd. John David Forney. Kevin Michael Foy. Sarah Catherine French. Michelle Mary Elizabeth Garvey. Hector Rolando Garza. Vanessa Ann Garza. Laura Ann German. Carolyn M. Gibbs. Christopher Mark Gilmore. Kevin Michael Green. Sarah Blanche Green. Alfredo Marcos Gutierrez. Megan Patricia Hanslick. Karen Ann Harley. Alexander E. Hermany. Matthew Stephen Hofgees. Jennifer Cecilia Howe. Christopher Michael Iaquinto. Corey Michael Irwin. Corey Kelly. Ronan Kelly. Stephanie Lynn Kirsting. Kathleen McHugh Key. T. Patrick Kurz, Jr. Kathleen Mary Laird. Daniel Anton Lavrisha. Justin Michael Leone. Laura Elizabeth McLean. Joseph Brian Manning. Kyle Patrick Martin. Jessica Renee Mathis. Nicholas Peter McCarthy. Jared Christopher McCauley. Michael Charles McLaughlin. Douglas William Mogul. Matthew John Maloney. Michael James Montgomery. Margaret Odelia Morgan. Claire Ann Murphy. Flannery Byrne O'Connor. Catherine Ann Peterson. Lindsay Ann Peterson. Marie Therese Peterson. Megan Mary Regan. Timothy Ryan Reedy. Daniel Egan Reynolds. Kieran David Roach. Patricia Salazar. Michael Josian Santos. Maggie Sheehan Schrader. Michael Patrick Scully. Maureen Lynn Shields. Catherine Mary Short. Tyler Edward Smith. Mariangela Carol Sullivan. Carolyn Maria Sweeney. Daniel Raymond Trimner. Michael Thomas Vandenboom. And Danielle Marie Weber.
Each year, the graduating MED class selects one of its own to be the graduation speaker. This year, our graduation speaker hailed from the great state of Texas. Oh, come on, Texans. Hector Garza is a graduate of Our Lady of the Lakes University, and he will return to Texas to teach this coming year at Holy Cross in San Antonio. Hector was an elementary major with me, although he really taught Spanish and art, and he became the resident artist of his class and left a lifelong image for future ACE teachers by painting a huge mural in the basement of the Oklahoma City ACE house. Hector, please come up and address your class.
There were some people in my class who requested for me to play a song on my guitar. And because I didn't bring mine, my closer was kind enough to lend me his. But this song was special because I introduced it while I was teaching a lesson in Sister Gail's class. And, yes, Sister Gail. And teaching K3, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds, this was my main resource for teaching those kids. And I was teaching them the parts of the body. And so my practicum colleagues remember this song, and I hope they still remember the words, but it goes like this. Cuando un cristiano baila, 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 baila. Cuando un cristiano baila, 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 baila. Pie, 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 pie. Pie, 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 pie. That was it. All right. I honored what you requested. Good afternoon once again, Vice President Mazar, distinguished faculty, honored guests, and fellow graduates. I want to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the entire ACE community for having blessed me with this gift. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. As I reflect on two of the most challenging, transformative, life-giving years of my life, I have to say that our God is truly a God of incredible surprises. In the words of Archbishop Oscar Romero, it helps now and then to step back and take a long view. The kingdom is not only beyond our efforts, it is even beyond our vision. We accomplish in our lifetime only a tiny fraction of the magnificent enterprise that is God's work. Nothing we do is complete, which is a way of saying that the kingdom always lies beyond us. As a Mexican-American first-generation college student from a small border town, I never imagined that God would call me to the University of Notre Dame and invite me to enter into an experience that would change my life forever. Today, I change statistics. Today, I change the mentality of society's views on Hispanics and those that live with the struggle to try to get educated. I'm a testament and proof that God provides for all of us in the midst of the struggles. None of you are here by chance. You are here because you answered yes to God's call. Just when we thought that our lives and future plans were set, God called each and every one of us. We were called to teach, live in community, and strengthen our spirituality. For some of us, answering God's call was extremely challenging and was probably not the kind of service program that we had in mind. I strongly believe that our entire ACE experience has been a series of incredible surprises and events that have allowed for personal growth. We were invited into an experience that challenged us to build relationships with individuals from various walks of life. And in the midst of the conflict and chaos that each of us experienced our first days in the classroom and in community, we persevered and found hope in each other. Coming into my first year in A's, I was blessed with two strong pillars: a beautiful Southern belle with a kind heart, who always had the right words to say, and an extremely intelligent young man with a gentle spirit who always challenged me to see the world in a different way, unless he was otherwise occupied with a game of Halo or Star Wars. And just when I had built a strong bond with these two people, surprise, 3 new rookie teachers were added to the mix my second year. I was blessed again. The experience was about to change again. And boy, did we have some crazy adventures. Now, when I say surprises, going out as a community will always lead to certain surprises. At the house, Ryan was showing us this, fighting move that's a combination of a kick and a punch. And it's really hard to explain. I would have to show it to you. And so we decided to go out that night, renew our zeal, that sort of thing, with each other. And so what better form than to go out dancing, So we went into this club, shaggy carpet, life-size statue of Elvis. The floor would light up at random. And it was very fun. And so we show up, and, the night's progressing, and everyone's like, yeah, getting down. And I'm looking at Ryan, I'm like, I should do it. I should do that move, but make it into a dance move. So I went out there, we're in a circle, and I say, you know what? I'm not from Oklahoma. I'll probably never be back here again. Why not? So we're all dancing, and it looks something like this. Everyone started laughing at me. People from Oklahoma were like, what? And eventually, everyone in my community started doing it too. And so for a minute, dirty dishes, trash, picking up after yourself, whatever conflicts, small issues in the community, it all went away for that moment. And in that moment, we all laughed together. It's a genuine feeling of happiness and community. Now, the classroom had many surprises for me. Each day was a surprise. And for you elementary teachers, you know this is true. It's always something different. I was in my 6th grade class, I have a little girl. Her name is Abigail. And Abigail lives with autism. And I was teaching a unit on sports, and it was basic vocabulary. And I was doing motions, so they could give me the word. And I'm up in front of the class, and I'm ready to, show them baseball. And I go, and then I hear, ow! What was that? And I'm like, they're like, oh my gosh, Senior Garza, you hit Abigail with the ball. I was like, what? And then I'm like, what would Brian Husby do at a time like this? I'm like, this is it. This is my chance to put into practice what we've learned. And I said, I'm so sorry, Abigail. Can you throw me the ball back? Sure. And so I do it again. I go, and then she says, you're out. So each day was a surprise teaching. And any moment that seemed hopeless was filled with moments of laughter and joy in my school. Whatever path you choose to pursue, if you choose it in light of your faith, your passion, where your heart is, and as a calling, God will bless you abundantly. Serve the ACE program, the people in Chile, teach in the classroom, pursue advanced studies, or even celebrate the sacraments of marriage or holy orders. God will provide. If you abandon yourself entirely to providence, not only will you succeed, but you will also give glory to God by sharing of your gifts and talents in an effort to transform our world. Now, before I close, I would like to give you something. At the December retreat, I gave you a piece of my talent that God gave me. And today, I'm going to give you a piece of my culture. So I ask that the ACE 13 class, my friends, my family, to please stand. In the Mexican culture, la bendición or blessing is an extremely important ritual that is done before embarking on a journey or a new beginning. And I feel that it's fit for me to give you that blessing today. And this blessing is in honor of Our Lady Guadalupe and is said every feast day. Dulce Madre, no te alejes, tu vista de mí no apartes, ven conmigo a todas partes, y solo nunca nos dejes, ya que nos proteges tanto como verdadera Madre, haz que los bendiga el Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo. Amen. Please be seated. In closing, this is what ACE is all about. We plant the seeds that one day will grow. We water seeds already planted, knowing that they hold future promise. We lay foundations that will need further development. We provide yeast that produces far beyond our capabilities. We cannot do everything, and there is a sense of liberation in realizing that. This enables us to do something, and to do it very well. It may be incomplete, but it is a beginning, a step along the way, an opportunity for the Lord's grace to enter and do the rest. We may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. Thank you.
Hector, thank you for sharing with us your words to your classmates and sharing with us a glimpse into the grace of the ACE experience. Thank you. I would now like to introduce Father Ronald Nuzzi, the director of the ACE Leadership Program, to present the graduates for the Master of Arts in Educational Administration degrees.
Dr. Maziar, it is my pleasure and privilege to present to you the degree candidates for the Master of Arts in Educational Administration. As the university's newest graduate degree, ACE Leadership is proud to present its first graduating class, and in so doing, affirm Notre Dame's leadership role in the renewal of Catholic schools, which we believe are at the heart of the church. ACE Leadership graduates, please to stand.
By the authority vested in me from the University of Notre Dame du Lac, and in the name of the trustees of the university and the faculty of the Alliance for Catholic Education, I solemnly and publicly confer on you the degree recommended by your director. We admit you to all its rights and privileges and remind you of the responsibilities you are about to assume. May God bless you and keep you. Congratulations.
ACE Leadership graduates, please come forward to receive your degree and to be hooded by Father Nuzzi and Dr. Holter when I call your name. Vilma Allen. Anne O. Alokalaro. Amanda Briggs Angiak. Kathleen Louise Asmar. Elizabeth Ann Baker. Dana Maria Bayer. Molly Welsbacher Carlin. Adriana Gonzalez Duncan. Margaret Ann Elson. Michael Paul Fierro. Donna S. Frazier. Cheryl Ann Healy. Gregory Stephen Colin Hine. Ben Adrian Ketchum. Kelly Jennifer Ketchum. Kevin Patrick Kiefer. Vicky Ann Kilgariff. Braden R. Kleesner. Scott Stephen K-Mack. Heather Lee Lindsay. Sean Michael Lynch. Kathleen Mary McCann Ojeda. Brian Kenneth Morton. Jocelyn Manuel Pierre Antoine. Eileen C. Quinlan. Susan Rao. Sandra Patricia Rojas. Yvonne Viola Saunders. Lisa Ann Swartz Medina. Roseanne Schellenberg Whiting. Joel Wickman. Sister Mary Josepha Van Camp. Congratulations, graduates.
Our ACE Leadership graduation speaker, selected by the ACE Leadership faculty, is a native of Missoula, Montana, and went to grade school and high school in Sitka, Alaska. She's also a '96 Notre Dame graduate, and for a time a member of ACE 3 in Jacksonville, before earning her master's degree from the University of Portland. She is currently the principal of Immaculate Conception Grade School in Fairbanks, Alaska, where she makes her home with her husband Michael, also a Notre Dame grad, and their sons Kip and Gabe. Please welcome Amanda Angiak.
I actually only know 3 chords to a John Denver song, so probably wouldn't have been exciting. Thank you, Father Nuzzi, and thank you to the ACE faculty, staff, family, and friends, fellow graduates, for allowing me an opportunity to share some thoughts with you as we celebrate together today. Yes, I'm the one from Alaska. I have the great treat of living in a place where during the darkest part of the winter, we have about 3 hours of daylight, where we won't have recess only if it's colder than -20, or if we might have to call in the students because we have a renegade moose hanging out on our playground. That gives new meaning to No Child Left Behind. Being one of the early members of the ACE Leadership Program, I was lucky to have Father Nuzzi come and visit our humble school in Fairbanks. And it was a visit that left an indelible mark on him. Actually, it's more like a scar, since he slipped on a patch of ice in the parking lot and retained a good gash on his hand. Not sure if that was the mark. Not sure if it's the best way to make a good impression, but it does make for a good story. As Father Nuzzi has shared, we here are part of something big. This weekend is a momentous occasion, not just for us as individuals, as educators and administrators, but for this university and for Catholic education. We recently have concluded the first annual ACE Leadership Action Research Conference, in which 23 projects were presented as a means of improving practice and education in Catholic schools. And today we are to be the first class conferred with a Master of Arts degree in Educational Administration. It is a great day. This is truly an amazing group of people. This is truly a faith-filled community. And that said, as I collected my thoughts to share with you, I really began to freak out. I really did. I found myself waking up at 3 in the morning, thinking of this moment, this opportunity for which I'm so honored to have been given. And I found myself dizzy, because that's what happens to me. And when I thought of speaking of you, I thought, what could I possibly have to say? What does one say to a group of people who really get what Catholic education is all about, who know the important role Catholic education plays in the evangelization of the faith, of the proclamation of the gospel, and the lived, breathing word, who have heard the call, like Hector said, of the important vocation of teaching and said, yes, Lord, here I am? What does one say to a group of individuals who are accomplished in every sense of the word, who have dedicated themselves not just as educators, but as religious, as husbands, wives, parents, and dear friends? What do you say to those who are passionate about Catholic education and are truly witnesses to their faith, who know the challenges facing Catholic schools and are working within the crisis of declining religious, lack of funding, and even school closures? What does one say? What came to me was be joyful. Why? You are surrounded by Christ, living to the left of you and to the right of you, working with you here at Notre Dame, reviewing church documents, going over accounting sheets, reading educational case law, deciphering the difference between qualitative and quantitative research. Each of you is the gospel in action, living, breathing, and making a difference. And that's why this day is so momentous. Yes, it is a first in many ways, but this event is also a continuation of what we've been called to do as a people of faith in Jesus Christ, as disciples called to serve. We have been called not to just bring the good news. We are called to be the good news, Christ for the other. In Mass this evening, we will hear the parable of the sower. Christ speaks to the disciples about the challenges of bringing the word out into a world that is inhospitable, rocky, and barren. But we, especially here at Notre Dame, are blessed because as I look out on each of you, classmates, professors, and friends, I see rich soil. We have come here with our experiences, and the word has been fervently planted, taken root, and is now bearing fruit. Through the ACE pillars of spirituality, community, and academics, we have been given tools to increase the harvest in others and maintain the bounty in ourselves. But what I especially like about this gospel is a sort of reality check we get from the disciples. There's a stark reminder in this of our humanness and our lacking. Because when Jesus finishes the parable, the disciples don't just nod appreciatively, filled with understanding and ready to go forth. Instead, they actually ask Jesus, why are you always speaking in parables? They're essentially frustrated. Why can't people just get it? Why can't you just come out and say it? Tell them about what you know. Tell them who you are. We learn instead that it's never that easy. In Matthew, Jesus patiently shares the wisdom of his message with the disciples and with us, that for one to truly receive Christ, he or she must be ready to both hear and understand. True understanding is not necessarily achieved by the most learned, but to the one who has said, yes, Lord, and is willing to do the work, who has turned the soil over in their hearts, worked with others, and gained insight and understanding in and through relationship. And this is what we do as educators. As teachers modeled after Christ the teacher, we are called to be in relationship, to seek and increase understanding and be witnesses, to see every interaction with the other as an opportunity for revelation. And so this being the case, what then but joy? We have arrived here because of our individual and collective vigilance, determination, and wit, but we are also here because of God's grace. It is this grace, beyond human understanding, which makes everything that we've accomplished, taken part of, and are about to do, entirely gift. So how can we not be joy-filled? And that though the disciples might have been frustrated with the fact that Jesus spoke so often in parables, one of the great things about being in community, about being church, is that we all come with our stories. Our involvement and interaction with one another adds layers to our individual and collective tale. And it's God's grace that leads us in directions we may not have planned and undoubtedly shapes our view. The evolution of this leadership program is one made up both of determination and grace, and is indeed filled with many chronicles. most of which I can't remember because of sleep deprivation caused by late nights consisting of work on multiple projects, trying to keep my husband sane while he cared for our kids. Our program has grown from a group of 6, Benny, Greg, Kathy, Dan, Melissa, and Soren, to a collective group of over 100. At one point, we took on master levels finance in the business school, and we have introduced the therapeutic properties of the bucket. We have made lasting friendships, added chapters to our own personal stories in this community. And with the passing of my mother last August, I have a profound and deep level of gratitude for this ACE community. My mom, Sharon, had an intense love for the Eucharist and modeled an example of hospitality that I can only hope to replicate. The love, care, and hospitality that I felt from people in ACE when she passed away exemplified the best attributes of Christian community. Though I know she would have loved to be here, Mama probably has the best seat in the house, but I know she would have loved the good party, and she would have loved to meet the people who have meant so much to me throughout these years. I am grateful to have my dad, Tom, here to meet you all, you who have supported our family, you who I have shared so many stories about. So we've come here to this place with our own stories and experiences, and now prepare to depart to add to the greater narrative of Catholic education. My husband, Michael, whom I couldn't do any of this without, is half Yupik Eskimo. And in the Yupik tradition, the sharing of stories is essential to the culture. In fact, it is tradition to, quote, arrive with a story to tell when one returns from hunting or fishing or coming back to their home in the village. Let us be affirmed then in our task. Let us go forth to our homes and arrive with our stories of this experience in this place. Let us go out to make Christ living and breathing in the lives and hearts of everyone we meet. Our human imperfections ensure that the completion of such a task will not be an easy one. But it is in joy that we should depart here today, filled and informed because of those who we have come to know and love in this community. Nourished and transformed by the spirit and words we have reflected on as church, strengthened and assured by the knowledge gained in our academic training. Though we travel again to our different parts of the country or world, we are assured by the words of the prophet Isaiah. Yes, in joy we shall depart, in peace we shall be brought back. Mountains and hills shall break out in song before us, and all the trees of the countryside shall clap their hands. I thank you for this opportunity to revel in the greatness of that which we have been given, for the gift of your presence in my life, and for the many wonderful things we have yet to accomplish. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Beautiful reflection. Remind me not to accept an invitation to visit you in Fairbanks, Alaska. Donna and Tim Presley, will you join me here? At Notre Dame, ACE is pleased to continue honoring the life and work of Mike Presley, the inaugural academic director of our program, a prodigious and world-known scholar, one of the most courageous people I've had the privilege to know. The recipients of this award, the Michael Presley Award for Excellence in Catholic Education, are nominated by their peers and reflect his dedication to service and scholarship to benefit children and Catholic schools across our country. This award is reserved for our movement, the ACE graduates who've graduated between 5 and 10 years. And by the way, I should tell you that 3 days before his death, Michael dictated the terms of this award, which, if you know him, wouldn't surprise you, and they must have distinguished themselves in making significant contributions to the ministry of Catholic education. This year, we're pleased to honor 2 outstanding friends and graduates of ACE, Kelly Walsh Superanini and Benny Morton. Would you please join us? Kelly served in ACE Lake Charles. She's part of our ACE 3 cohort. Upon graduating from ACE, Kelly moved to the Boston area and began her 10-year tenure with Trinity Catholic High School. She spent 8 years as a leader at Trinity, and 5 of those as the school's principal. Kelly says she stays committed to Trinity because it's a mission-driven school focused on social justice. Outside of her responsibilities at Trinity, Kelly remains active and involved in the ACE Fellowship. She's a member of the Boston Regional Fellowship community and has been instrumental in forming partnerships citywide. Most recently, she helped raise nearly $50,000 in scholarships, convincing her ACE colleagues to run the Boston Marathon. Like Kelly, Benny Morton has devoted himself to becoming a superb Catholic school educator and leader. Benny's ACE 6 placement in the Brownsville community marked the start of a 6-year journey with the St. Anthony Catholic School, where he became assistant principal before moving to Chicago to become principal of St. Anne Catholic Elementary School in the Pilsen neighborhood, one of our 3 Magnificat schools. Ultimately, it is Benny's dedication to Catholic education that inspired the following words from a nomination letter. Benny became a member of the ACE Leadership Program as an act of faith, passion, and commitment. He personifies the pillars of ACE. He's a principal, a friend, a member of the professional community, and a person of the deepest integrity. It's my honor to then invite these 2 wonderful folks to receive this award and our deepest thanks. Each year, Notre Dame recognizes an individual who embodies, beyond the ACE community, contributions to the life of the Catholic community through our apostolate of education. I would ask Marianne Remick of Winona, Minnesota, and her husband Jack to come forward. These are people who do not like to come forward, so I just want to make sure that they're actually doing so. Help me greet Marianne Remick, please. Marianne Remick grew up in Minnesota and attended the College of St. Teresa, where she earned a nursing degree. She and her husband Jack have raised 5 wonderful children. Demonstrating their dedication and loyalty to Catholic education, Marianne and Jack sent all 5 kids to Catholic schools. 3 of their children, Sarah, David, and Andrew, received diplomas from Notre Dame, and when Andrew, their youngest child, graduated, Notre Dame recognized Marianne as an honorary member of the Fighting Irish. Marianne and Jack have been involved in their parish and in the Diocese of Winona on every level, from bake sales to board service to generous support of capital improvements. In fact, they've underwritten a major expansion of their parish school, made a leading gift to Lourdes High School in Rochester, Minnesota, and recently donated 25 acres of prime real estate to build a new Catholic high school for their area. And if you want to know why you might have had a hard time getting to this event today, the huge hole on the DeBartolo quad in front of us, with the large crane swinging back and forth, are engaged in the construction of our newest engineering building, which by complete coincidence bears the name of the Remick family. Contributing her time, talent, and treasure, Marianne currently sits on the board of St. Mary's University in Winona, Minnesota, as well as the board of the Alliance for Catholic Education. You will never find a more humble, self-effacing, or generous and gracious philanthropist but neither will you meet one with a bolder or more passionate ambition for Catholic education. Today, we're thrilled and honored to announce that Mary Ann Remick has, with characteristic boldness, decided to endow perpetually the ACE Leadership Program, and it is our great pleasure to announce today that the program will forever bear her name, the Mary Ann Remick Leadership Program in the Alliance for Catholic Education. I'm still hoping they'll complete their gesture towards us. They really don't like this attention, but Mary Ann's an outstanding Catholic leader, a visionary, someone who's determined, as we are, to ensure the future of Catholic schools. She's a great friend of mine, of the University of Notre Dame's, Chris, and it's really our honor to present her with the 2008 Notre Dame Award for Outstanding Contributions to Catholic Education. So once again, please welcome and join me in recognizing a true daughter and son of Notre Dame, Mrs. Mary Ann Remick of Winona, Minnesota, and her husband, Jack.
I really don't like public speaking, but I'm here, and I want to thank Father Tim and all of the wonderful ACE people that it's been my privilege to know and to have been selected for this award, because I know there are many others who have worked tirelessly to ensure the survival and growth of Catholic schools. I also want to thank this man behind me for his support and generosity throughout the years. Although Jack and I personally experienced Catholic education as students, I don't think it was until the oldest of our 5 children entered first grade at St. Francis School in Rochester, Minnesota, nearly 30 years ago, that we really paid attention to the importance of Catholic education. And as our children made their way through the local Catholic schools, we, like many of the parents here, found our way going to teacher conferences, working on the ever-present and ever-needed fundraisers, and serving on various boards and committees. And in doing so, we came to know and really value many of their teachers and their principals. We are certainly aware of the many challenges and demands that all of you face in your classrooms today. And it's our belief that teachers and all those who work in Catholic schools make a significant difference in the lives of their students, because you not only teach minds, you touch hearts. And that's what keeps us motivated to keep working so that Catholic schools will not only survive but thrive, and they definitely will because of dedicated people like you. We are really privileged to be here with you as you celebrate the culmination of your years of study. And if I may, I would like to share with you part of a meditation by John Cardinal Newman that I think is pretty appropriate for today. God has created me to do him some definite service. He has committed to me some work which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. I may never know it in this life, but I shall be told it in the next. I am a link in a chain, a bond of connection between persons. He has not created me for nothing. I shall do good. I shall do his work. Congratulations to all of you, and let's go do his work.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann. This is a great day for Notre Dame. Thank you, Jack. I would just ask you for a moment to recognize the presence of the Holy Spirit in the lives of these young people, in the lives of those who have just committed several and some years of their lives to this apostolate. And let's just give thanks to God. And may I ask all those who are not graduating to stand with me and extend your arm in blessing. Loving God, we celebrate with deepest gratitude the commitment, the talent, the extraordinary passion with which these fellow disciples have poured their lives into the lives of children. Increase that spirit, multiply it. Help us to leave this celebration with a deeper and more passionate commitment to serve justice and peace and the gospel through the apostolate of Catholic education, and help us to embody the life of the Beatitudes in our daily lives. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Please rise, all of you, and we generally lock arms to sing our alma mater. Notre Dame.
Nice job. It was nice to have the